Have you ever had those moments where you feel like you're not yourself? You feel disconnected to yourself? You notice that you're not feeling the way you used to feel? It's a little bit unsettling. You think to yourself, what's going on? I don't respond the same. I don't feel the same. Who am I? And sometimes you can really get into a little like a worried cycle about this when you feel disconnected with yourself. This feeling is actually pretty normal in the beginning. Different things can affect it, and usually it lasts a week, maybe a week to 10 days. If this feeling continues after 2 weeks, then I suggest that you either start out with your well woman or well guy doctor, and then from there, maybe seek counseling. Or if you know exactly what's going on in life that's been making you feel differently about how you feel about yourself, then it's easier to go to counseling and say, listen, I just went through a breakup or whatever the loss was, because loss can make you feel like you don't know yourself anymore, like you've just lost or disconnected from yourself. But there's other things that can cause this feeling too, and those include hormones. Sometimes when your hormones are out of whack, you'll notice you don't feel like yourself. You're not responding like yourself. You're disconnected, like you just don't recognize parts of yourself. Or intense stress. If you're going through a very stressful time, maybe taking care of a loved one, or worried about someone, or someone is in the hospital and they've not been doing well, or something's going on terribly at work, these things can all cause increased, really intense stress. And this can make you feel disconnected from yourself and your feelings. Major life changes. Maybe you've had to uproot and move. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe you just recently had a new baby or a new member of the family. Maybe you've taken your mom or dad in. These kinds of disruptions, life changes, can cause you to lose touch or disconnect from yourself. A loss. If you went through a parent loss, a child loss, a good friend loss, any sort of loss. It could be a loss of your hair. It could be a loss of a major illness. It could be a loss of like getting a leg amputated or something. I've worked with many chronic illness folks that feel disconnected from themselves at time. In fact, with breast cancer, this is one of the primary feelings they'll have, a disconnect. They no longer really know who they are in this body with this person, which is their self. Or a change in relationships. If your relationship that you were thinking was going to turn into marriage, maybe you guys were thinking of committing, all of a sudden now you got the brakes on that. This can cause you to lose some touch with yourself. In a way, it's just a disconnect, like you don't feel about anything the way you used to feel. And it's scary. It can be very scary. That's why I'm telling you, it's pretty normal. It's pretty common. But it's not common if it goes on more than 10 days. And that's the key here, because some illnesses we say, or some feelings we say, wait for 2 weeks and then see where you are. But with this feeling of loss, it can also be significant with medical issues or with psychological issues. And that's why we want you to get it attended to after 10 days of feeling this way, and there's no relief in sight. So I'm going to give you some quick fixes, or well, they're not really quick fixes, but they are fixes that you can do on your own when you're in a real moment of feeling lost or not like yourself. The first of these is getting grounded. There's a lot of research on grounding techniques and exercises. In fact, when someone is going through a terrible time, instead of telling them to calm down, what you want to go automatically into is helping them feel grounded in the here and now. So what are some of those techniques? First of all, you practice putting your feet firmly on the ground and think of digging the toes really into the ground. Take slow, deep breaths. We're trying to get you into the present because that's going to shift that feeling lost. Relax your shoulders. And the best way to relax your shoulders is also to relax your jaw. Just let it hang and then think of pushing down and back the shoulders and then breathe deeply. That's going to really help. State the date and time, and keep stating the date and time, because once again, it's forcing you into this moment. You're going to look at your watch or your phone. You're going to see the time as it changes. It's going to help ground you. Comment on what you observe in your surroundings. Like, look up, if you're looking out a window or whatever you're seeing in the office, just note it verbally. I see a plant. I see my papers. I see my computer. I see my laptop. Here's what it's opened up to. The more you can get into this life again, once again, the better the grounding. Remind yourself that you're in a safe space. I'm in a safe space. If you're traveling, pulling off to the side is going to help. It's just going to help you get grounded, and then you can re-emerge into traffic when you're grounded and ready. And continue to breathe, relax, and go slower with your words. This really, really helps relax the body. And once again, that really important muscle of the jaw. Reconnecting activities. What are some things you used to love doing? You might not love them right now when you feel like you're losing connection with yourself, but when you get the routine, the rhythm of doing it again, like I like to go walking. If I start walking, I'll automatically ground myself and come back. If I cook, I like baking. If I start baking something, even if I'm feeling like not my old self will reemerge within that activity. If you're into the gym, when you go to the gym, sometimes if you do the same routine you did before, just that muscle movement is going to get you back. You're going to start feeling more in touch with your old self again, so that you don't have that disconnect anymore. And self-reflecting, journaling. You're going to journal at this moment. I feel. Some days that's going to be, I feel numb. I feel like I'm not the same person. I don't like myself as much. Whatever you're feeling, it's important you write it down. But also write down the grounding. I'm looking out the window. I'm seeing a bird. I think it's a blackbird, or I think it's a robin. Whatever it is, it's going to help make that shift for your brain chemistry, to bring you back into the moment. If it's possible, take that journal and then go and make an appointment with a counselor. Because if the counselor has what you're journaling, they'll be able to see. I read a lot of journals, and I'll be able to see patterns, and then that will be part of my work with them. Usually, as a therapist, what's lying underneath this disconnect is something of intense grieving. Something happened, it sparked something else, a flashback from another time, and you just disconnect. You don't feel like yourself. You look at yourself and you start feeling numb, jaded almost, and that's what you're trying to get rid of. That's a feeling. You want to feel yourself again. You want to have all the feelings, the good and the bad, and a therapist can help you move through that from that point of that journal.